Well, hello model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Raul, and this week I'm going to update you more on my AMT 71 Camaro restoration rebuild project here. And I've gotten a bit more done, and I've decided to shoot the interior this dark tan color here, which is, I just used Model Masters leather. It shoots out really nice. So that's what I went with, and it's going to go with this cranberry red that was available on the 71 Camaro. So that's what I'm doing here. So I did shoot this and getting it ready. So, and every now and then I get some of you guys comment on the shine and how I do that. I give it a little bit of a, not really a weathered look, but it shoots out semi-gloss black, but at the same time you can polish it up just a little bit to give it a little bit more of a worn look. So you can take a cloth. But I've done it to the dash, so you can see there's a little bit of shine to it in some areas where I've just gone over it. But I haven't done it to the seats. So here's right from the airbrush. You can see it's kind of flat. And then you can just rub like this and just kind of get into some of the areas, and then a little on the sides. And it brings a little bit of shine to it in some of the areas and leaving the other areas flat. Now you can also use like the panel liner to darken it a little bit, and I'll probably do that a little bit too, just give it a little bit more of a worn look so it's not quite so uniform. But I really don't detail my interiors that much. But here's a side-by-side shot of the one I did do and the one I didn't do. So you can kind of get an idea of the difference there. And like it's just very subtle as far as polishing it goes. So I'll do this one now too, since I'm doing it right here, right in front of you. So it's kind of a neat little tip or trick. And sometimes I've discovered this just by handling the part. Just by constantly moving and handling, and your oil's polishing it up in your hands. So there we go. But it gives it a little bit more of a worn look to it, so some areas are a little flatter than others. So those are getting kind of ready. Now I still got to black out the gauges, I got to black out this bottom section, and then I'll black out the steering wheel. And then the console will be blacked out. I'll insert a reference photo, the one I found online that I'm pretty much copying. But the console will be black, carpets are brown, and I got to paint the pedals. So the pedals will be black, console black, bottom of the dash and the steering wheel black, and then the gauges, but everything else is brown. And I'm liking it. I'm liking this color, so use a little bit more of it. And then just an update on the bodywork. I did pin the mirrors, so the mirrors are now pinned, so they're pinned in place. I still need to fix the corners here of the hood. I really haven't touched that yet, and I'm kind of afraid to, because I have a problem dropping my hoods, and I'm got a funny feeling if I fix the bodywork on here, I'm just going to drop it and break the corners again. But I started to do some of the bodywork. I got a little bit I need to fix in the front here because they're not quite flat. If you see it right there. So they're not quite uniform, so I still got to fix that. There's a small spot right here that I need to fix too. But I did finish the wing, so filled it in a whole lot better, regraved it a little bit as far as the lines go. So I'm really happy with the way the wing is coming out, and it's not quite so hipped out. So I sanded a little bit on the sides, and it's looking really good. But another layer of primer on there. But I'm really happy with the way the wing's coming out. I started to put the roll pan in there. I need to fill these gaps a little bit better, because on the actual car this is seamless. You don't see any lines. But I got to make sure the bumper still fits. So because of the way the model's made, I had to cut the loops of the bumpers so I can actually slide it in instead of hook it in the holes. So a little bit of re-engineering, a little bit more sanding here to do. So I've got a few areas to touch up, but the bodywork is 90% done. So you'll be seeing a little bit more on this one. But so one more update on this, and I'm going to keep going, so stay tuned on that. Okay, well, I'm getting a little bit more done to this. I figured I would stop and show you. So I did some sanding there, flattened these out a bit more and tapered them and shaved them, and I'll be shooting some more primer on there, but got those areas adjusted and taken care of. So those are looking good, and still haven't puttied the back, but I did do a little bit of sanding, but I'm gonna put some putty on there. And but I figured I'm doing this, and I thought about the hood issue that I mentioned about the corners, so I figured I'd stop and show you real quick. Gluing some real thin styrene. So this one I started to shave and sand and shape to get the point, and I will put some putty on there and thicken that up a little bit and fine tune that. But this one's a bigger area, so I figured before I start sanding and shaping that, I would show you. We're going to glue that in, and then next I will shape this one kind of like this one, and then I'll get some putty on there. So I need to get some that taken care of, get the putty mixed up and put on here and on the back of the roll pan there. And then while I got the putty out, there's a spot on my GTO project that I'm going to do too. So I figured I would show you that. And then I did get some of the black on there, although this is a little too shiny. It's because I brush painted the semi-gloss versus airbrush. When I airbrush it, it's usually more satin, but when I brush paint it, it tends to come out a little glossier. But blacked out the door handles, and then the pedals. You can see the automatic pedal and the gas pedal, and you got the console. Not too worried about the sheen on that, but blacked the steering wheel out, and then started to detail the dash. So that's getting going there. So I'll show you. And then one thing I thought about, my taillights. These are the original MPC taillights. Well, the problem is, well, now that I glued the roll pan in place and modified the bumper, I can't put this in there as one piece because I can't get behind the things. But it's just a simple compromise. I'm just going to cut it right here, cut the center section out, and then you know, I can still get the taillights and glue them in from behind, but now I just one on each side instead of one piece. So once it's assembled, you'll never know. I was just playing right here because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense until I paint the whole outside red, because I'm going to get overspray on the inside. But I just had some extra paint on my paintbrush, that's why I did that. But I will clip these, make sure I can get them in the back of the body, and get working on that. So just a couple little updates for you, but follow along, and I'm going to keep going on this, and you'll see some more updates. But figured I would just shoot a real quick one, let you know where I'm at on the hood and how I'm doing that to reinforce the corners there. So stick around. I got probably one more update on this, and we'll continue on. Okay, well, here's where this went. So I went and sanded these down, got them shaped a little bit more for you, and I decided I was going to fill this with putty anyway, the groove. Just kind of want to see how it comes out, really. The top's looking really nice, but I got the corners cleaned up and shaped, and it's lining up pretty good with the body there. So still got some sanding to do, so I'm going to do some sanding, get some primer shot on it. I sanded these, and then got some putty here on both of these. So be a little bit another round of sanding, so I'll get these dried. And, well, actually they are dry, but I'll get them sanded, and another round of primer on these areas. And I think she's going to be pretty ready for paint. So that's where this is at the moment. But it's looking pretty good. But I figured I would show you one more quick update here so you can see this. And I'll get it sanded, get some primer on it. So stay tuned. Okay, well, here's the result on this one. After a round of body work, ready for shoot some more primer on it. I sanded this smooth. You can kind of see where it still was bulging out. But I got the corners taken care of, so you can see the putty right there sanded. I'll see how it looks when I get primer on it. And the underside, really smooth here now, and looking really good. I know it's just kind of plain, but it's going to all get blacked out onto the bottom side of the hood. But I'm just making it a little bit better, just seeing, you know, how it improves it or whatnot. But corners of the hood are done, and I'm liking how they go. And I showed you how they fit before, but they're fitting really nice now. So that's looking really good. And then I haven't really done anything to this. I've done a little bit more sanding to the body, so I'm going to shoot this. I started to smooth some of my sanding marks back here and all around the spoiler. Had a couple of areas, but both sides were just still a little bit rough, but did some more smoothing. But finished smoothing out the roll pan and got the putty in the corners there. So this is ready for another round of primer in those areas. And this one's getting really close to paint, so I think hopefully this weekend I'll get some paint on it. It's getting a little cold here in Arizona, but should be able to paint it this weekend. But that's where this is at the moment. So she's looking really good, so stick around and stay tuned. Okay, well here's the final on this. Got the primer, the last layers of primer on here. So hood is primered. Shot, really happy with this. This is the final layer of primer. And same thing with the body. As you saw, finished up smoothing out the back. So it's all ready for paint. And then got the frontal taken care of. Really happy with the way that came out. And she's ready. Had a little bit of cleanup under here that I missed, but some of the final sanding revealed some of that. So this thing is ready for some paint. So hopefully the next time you see this, well, it should be the next time you'll see this, I'll be shooting this on it here, the cranberry red from Scale Finishes, and this is gloss enamel. And so it's getting ready for paint. It's pretty much right there. So real happy with this. And then I did trim the taillights. I had to trim a little bit down here and cut them into smaller sections so that I can feed them through the back into there and get them to fit, because after gluing those pieces in its molded one piece setup that you saw, it wasn't going to work, but these are now ready to go. So that's going to be the next step, is shoot some color on this, and you'll see the latest update on this. And I appreciate you guys watching and subscribing and all your comments. I really do appreciate it. So thank you, and you guys, you have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you next Saturday.